Welcome back. Glad you are still keeping us company. We want to continue with Good Morning Kenya. And from that political note, Victoria right there, we want to move on to our family check conversation today. And it's all about what we are currently experiencing as a country. And this is about mostly our students and the wave of unrest that we have been witnessing across the country. We have seen many schools have to close down for indefinite periods of time due to unrest among the students in the specific schools. But taking a step back and trying to understand what is causing the bullying that is consequently leading to the violence that we are seeing in our schools. And we just want to understand where that is all coming from. And with us in studio today, we have Brenda Onyango Kitui, who is a counseling psychologist as well as the founder of Mental is Human Too. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Thank you for making time to be with us. Are you on the socials?
Yes, I am.
How can our viewers interact with you?
You can find me on YouTube at Mental is Human Too, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter.
Awesome.
All at Mental is Human Too.
Mental is Human Too, and it's TOO, not number 2, right?
yes.
And remember, our hashtag is still running. It is Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. Our official station handle is at KBC Channel 1. My handle is at Jain Wambui. Now, let's just start by understanding what Mental is Human Too does before we get to the gist of this conversation.
Okay, so Mental is Human Too is a mental health awareness campaign based purely on social media. We did some events before the pandemic.
Yes.
But the purpose of the campaign is to share information about mental health, to share information about how to take care of your mental health, what are some of the common mental health issues, different life skills to help you deal with mental health issues, and just to empower people with knowledge and help reduce stigma. Help reduce stigma that exists when it comes to mental health issues.
And who have been your major target or audience that you were seeking with this initiative?
Mostly young people, university students. The events that we did were in universities. We did an event in Kenyatta University and in USIU, and we're targeting young people so that they can understand issues to do with mental health and to help them find ways to deal with any mental health issue that they might be going through.
All right. Now, I'm being told we have a little bit of a technical hitch with the microphone, so we want to take a very quick breather. We will be back to continue with this conversation. In the meantime, do share with us your thoughts in regards to this conversation. What do you think about bullying in our schools, as well as the wave of unrest that we are currently witnessing among our secondary schools especially? Stay with us. There we are, back like we did not leave. Thank you for staying with us. We do apologize for that. And just to remind you, with us in studio is Brenda Onyango Kitui. She is a counseling psychologist as well as the founder of Mental is Human Too. Now, getting back to the subject of conversation today, bullying and violence in our schools. Let's start with bullying. You know, when we talk about bullying from a mental point of standing and mental health wellness point of standing, what are the different forms that bullying presents itself that we might not really be alive to?
So bullying presents itself in terms of somebody saying something hurtful to you, throwing a comment at you that hurts you or causes you embarrassment. Sometimes bullying presents itself in a prank, someone does a prank that really causes you a lot of embarrassment or even causes you physical harm. So those are the ways in which bullying presents itself, and you walk out of the situation feeling embarrassed, feeling that something bad has happened to you, and sometimes it can even hit your self-esteem. And bullying even happens at the workplace, you know. Sometimes your boss might yell at you in front of people, and that causes you embarrassment. And that is bullying.
So bullying comes with a sense of humiliation to the person who is being, bullied.
Yes, yes, yes.
And looking at among especially our kids, I want us to look at some of those reasons that maybe could bring about bullying and consequently violence that we are seeing in a school. But before we even get to that, just your thoughts on the wave of violence that we are seeing in the school. What do you make of it? Kids burning schools because of the various reasons that most of them have given, others burning because they have seen other schools burning schools. What do you make of it?
For me, I think these kids are under a lot of stress. They're under a lot of pressure. We've come from, we are in a global pandemic. And the question I ask is, did someone sit down with these kids and talk to them? Were they given an opportunity to express some of the emotions that they've been experiencing? Yeah, we saw the rates of violence went up when people were in the lockdown. And these kids were at home. They saw that. They saw all the stressful situations that existed. Some of them, their parents had to downgrade, because they lost jobs.
The schools that they were in.
Yes, yes. So these are young people. If we adults have been affected so much by the pandemic, what about these young kids? So I feel they've been under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, and they should have had an opportunity to talk to someone, to express these emotions, to let it all come out. Because what we are seeing right now is them releasing those emotions in an unhealthy way. They are bullying each other, they are burning the schools, they are acting out in a violent way because they feel these emotions are within them and they've not had a chance to express.
All right. Now that brings me to the academic pressure that is currently on our kids. I mean, they were on a 10-month break. Then the ministry said, in order to make up for this 10 months, almost a whole academic year, we're going on a crash program. That means no midterm, no extracurricular activities, no outings whatsoever, crash course for this amount of weeks. Holiday will only be a week. Do you think this is also contributing to this violence that we are seeing among the kids?
Of course it is. Of course it's contributing.
And to what extent?
To the extent that we are seeing it, to the extent that we are seeing the kids burning schools, and we should balance, even for us as adults. If you're told you've not been at work for 18 months, go to work, achieve what you had not done for the 18 months, you would crash. You'd have a meltdown. So this is the meltdown that these kids are having, and we need to give them a break. If you lose your mental health, you lose everything. If you can't function normally because your mental health has been affected, you will not do well academically. Even your health will be affected. So let's find a balance. Let's find a good balance where, yes, they can cover the academic work, but they can also be healthy.
And why do you think it's important to have some of this school and curricular activities reinstated? Because that is also one of the things that were taken away. They've just recently reinstated their midterm break.
It's important. These kids need to have some sports, to get rid of the stress that they're experiencing in their bodies, in their minds. They need to have sports. They need to have arts. They need to have the music festivals. Give them a chance to dance, to sing, to express themselves. They need to have a break. Some people are not into sports and all the music and drama, but they just like to sit down and reflect about what they've been experiencing and harmonize their thoughts. So we really need to give them a break to have some fun. Fun
room
is
to
good.
wiggle.
Let them have some fun, let them play, let them have fun, let them do silly things. It's very, very important.
Now let's bring this conversation to the home space. Going back to that 10-month space that they were exclusively at home. Prior to that, go to school 3 months, come back home for a month, go back to school for 3 months, back home for a month. Now here they are with a whole 10-month stretch. And do you think the situations at home, and most specifically looking at broken homes, in one way or the other, is also contributing to bullying and this violence that we are seeing?
Yes.
Or maybe what's the link there in broken homes and violence in schools?
You see, kids learn through modeling. What they see, they imitate. So if they're at home and they saw violence, they'll come to school and imitate that violence. Yeah. And if the home is not healthy, yeah, maybe the parents are bullying each other. Yeah, because that happens, the kids will watch and learn and want to. When they go back to school, that's how they'll behave. Yeah, maybe the kids were bullied by their older siblings. Yeah, so when they go back to school, they'll do that. They left home feeling powerless, feeling ashamed, and they have that thing they want to express. So that's what they'll do. They'll see the violence at home, they'll see the dysfunction at home, and then they'll come back to school, and that is what they will do. Yeah, they'll just model those behaviors.
Now, you know, earlier on with my colleagues, we were talking about corporal punishment, and you know, if it was abolished in schools, but there are parents that are calling for it to be reinstated because at some point, manze, kiboko inaitajika shule. And I don't know what you make of it, and especially looking at the mental health aspect. What are your thoughts when it comes to corporal punishment in school?
Corporal punishment is a very controversial topic. Yeah, I personally do not advocate for corporal punishment.
Why is that?
I believe there's a better way to enforce behavior, to reinforce positive behavior. Yeah, corporal punishment has had some very negative effects on certain people.
Yes,
there are people who developed anxiety because of that. Yeah, there are people who develop depression because of that. Yeah, and there are other ways you can discipline. Yeah, there are other ways in which you can reinforce good behavior without necessarily having to take a cane and beat someone. Some people interpret that as violence. Yeah, some of the kids that we have today, you take a cane, they will be so traumatized. Yeah, so let's find something that that will not traumatize the kids. Yeah, I know.
But we have those that are arguing that venye hakuna kiboko shule ndio maana they are misbehaving.
But we've not been using kiboko. Then now we introduce it. They will cause more confusion for these kids, you know. If we've been using other ways, let's improve what we've been using. Yeah, if we've been taking away their phones or I don't know, whatever you do to discipline your kids, let's be more strict on that. Yeah, for our generation, we laugh about kiboko, we laugh about hey nilichapwa
tulichapwa vizuri
maka nikafura, you know, such things, and we laugh about it. For us, it's normal. But for these kids, that's not normal. Yeah, they'll interpret it as violence. My mom hates me, the teacher hates me, you know. So whatever we've been using, let's just be more strict on it. Yeah, and talk to them more, find ways that work for them. Times have changed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And now looking at the school setup, you are dealing with hundreds of kids, for that matter, hundreds of students. And corporal punishment is out of the question. Well, kuna zile shule bado unatandikangwa chini ya maji. But looking at the fact that that is not the primary form of discipline that the school administration can administer on the kids, how then do we bridge that gap of discipline when it comes to the school, the teachers and the children in a way that the teachers don't feel they're overwhelmed and the kids don't feel like they're physically abused when it comes to the violence that comes along with corporal punishment?
So I think we need to empower our teachers. Yeah, we need to do more training on psychology for teachers. We need to give them skills that will help them discipline in a healthy way, you know, because teachers have a lot on their plate. Yeah, they have to take care of these kids, and we saw that when the kids were at home, the parents could not handle it. Yeah, so yeah, well, the parents are like, when are you going back to school? But we need to empower the teachers so that they can be able to handle these kids in the right way. Yeah, and like I just said, times have changed. What are the new measures that we can use? We need to invent other ways that can help the teachers manage the students and still mold them into responsible adults, people who will change the society and do things that will make the world a better place.
All right. So how then do we also bridge the gap between the parents and the teachers? Because that's a whole other conversation. We are living in a time where, as parents, you have WhatsApp groups for the school where you're able to interact with the teachers, the principal for that matter, and, you know, interrogate them on a very personal level. And for some schools, it has gotten so bad to a point where the school actually dissolves some of these groups because of the violence that now parents and teachers are perpetrating against each other. There also comes in another issue. The parent doesn't want this for the kids. The teacher says you need to do this for the kids in order to empower them academically. How do we bridge that gap to help children when it comes to dealing with the bullying in school and also the violence that they are the ones who are manifesting with?
Okay, so we need to establish boundaries, and boundaries between how far does the parent come and how far does the teacher come, you know? If
delicate grounds over there.
Yes.
Mtoto wangu, ninakulipa umsomeshe.
Yeah, there goes the debate of between the coach and the mother who is right, who wants best for this student. But we need to have boundaries, you know. You need to respect that the teacher is the professional, and we need to respect the fact that the parent is the person nurturing this child into the adults that they'll become. So we need to have boundaries, and then parents also need to take on the responsibility. Yes, parenting is hard, and no one teaches you how to be a parent. For you to be a good parent, you must take a proactive approach. You must learn your child and empower them and do all the hard work and the dirty work, you know. So we need to just have a boundary, a healthy boundary, and both parties should do their work, the teacher and the parent as well.
Okay. Now, there was a study that was done a while back that indicated that bullying in Kenya is among, it's higher than the global stats that are out there. And that brings me to further looking on at that research. It indicated more boys are bullying as opposed to the girls, and more girls are being bullied as opposed to the boys. What could be contributing to this factor, boys being more bullies than girls?
So boys being more bullied than girls could be socialization, because boys are socialized to be tough, to be in charge, to be the man, So they feel to express that, they have to show dominance even in terms of physical ability. So they are the ones who will go ahead and bully, They cannot show any form of weakness. And anytime they feel threatened, they will come out and bully the other person before you attack, So could be socialization, that's why. And girls are taught to be cool and quiet and not say anything, to be seen and not to be heard. So if a boy comes to you to tell you keep quiet, or they say something to you mean, girls are not socialized to react or to report or to retaliate. They are socialized to take it in like a pretty little girl and not say anything, which is damaging.
Now, what are some of those healthy ways of communicating that, I feel oppressed, I feel this is unfair treatment towards me, that, kids in school can understand and implement, as opposed to turning to violence as what we have been seeing. A good example is what we are seeing. We are yet to confirm this news about Muhoho boys. They peacefully left the school by saying, you know what, we feel like this, we want this, we will do this and this. What are those healthy ways that children and kids in school can take on or can be taught to help when it comes to dealing with pressure?
So when it comes to empowering these kids to have healthy ways to deal with this pressure, we need to teach our kids how to be assertive, and it starts from home. Allow kids to express themselves. Allow them to say, Mom, Dad, I feel this, I'm not okay with this, in a healthy way, So it goes back to the parents, you have to create that environment in your home. Allow them to teach them how to be assertive, so that when there's a problem, they can say, before it gets to the point where they are banning schools, before it gets to the point where they are being violent, So we need to teach them how to be assertive,
That will help when it comes to healthy coping mechanisms.
Yes.
Now, there's a message that, let me just pull it up real quick. There we go. Someone is saying, I'm going to be withholding names for the purposes of privacy. Until we get to a time where parents can learn to say sorry to their children when they wrong them, violence in school will never stop. I don't know what you think about that.
I am a strong advocate for let's normalize saying sorry at home.
But that is not something our parents, and I'm speaking for so many people, it's not something that we have grown up hearing. So how are we supposed to teach it? And yet it's something that you haven't been cultured to know works and its importance.
Say it today. Say it. If you do something wrong to your child, say, Mom, I'm sorry, I did this, I was angry. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I was angry, I was stressed from work. And kids will take it, you know. Kids will really appreciate that. And you will see next time they're the ones who will come and apologize to you. You know, kids learn from observing what adults do.
Yes.
Yeah, so start today. I'm challenged. That is my challenge to you today as I leave this studio. Everyone at home, today try and say sorry to your child. Or even just let them observe you saying sorry to your significant other. Yeah, we need to change. We need to change. It's time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe here says, I'm withholding the second name. He says, spare the rod and spoil the child. Mtoto ni atandikwe, not to govern how the parents should raise them.
Like I said, I am against corporal punishment and any form of physical violence.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is, let me just say it, that's just a lazy person. They don't want to. They don't want to do the hard work of learning how to communicate with this child, of learning a different way to mold this child into a responsible adult. Yeah. If you say use a cane, how hard do you hit? Who will monitor how hard you will hit? Who will monitor how many strokes? Who will monitor how much pain this person is supposed to experience, you know? And you know, in my church, they used to say, before you beat a child, pray first. Yeah? Just to check, to calm down your anger. You know, sometimes when you're angry as a parent, you will even throw some things at the child. So that's why I'm against that, yeah? So do the hard work. Don't be lazy. Cane is the easiest option, yeah? Just take a cane, you beat them until they cry, you know? But times have changed. Yes. Times have changed.
Times have changed and we need to keep up with these times.
Yes.
Now, somebody else is saying, I am an advocate of both, and again, this is an opinion that I also held, you know, the crime, you know, determines the punishment. But I'm an advocate of both, but would not encourage corporal punishment in school because there are teachers who beat the children out of malice and not to discipline them.
Yeah.
Also, when it comes to teachers and the intention behind the form of discipline that you are administering on these children. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So, like I was saying, who will monitor how much this person is supposed to be beaten? And maybe this teacher is just having a bad day and they need an outlet, you know? And so, caning, no. Let's just do the hard work of finding a way to mold these kids into better adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's now look at the teachers in this particular school. Just today, there was a piece on the Daily that was talking about alcoholism among the teaching population is one of the reasons as to why most of them are losing their jobs and, you know, acting out the way they are acting. Looking at also the pressure that the teachers have to face, that consequently, in one way or the other, they may project on the children. How can teachers be factored in, and especially during this pandemic time, because a lot of pressure has been put on them to also perform and make sure the kids catch up?
Yeah, so teachers also need support. Yeah, as much as they need to be empowered, they also need support. Unfortunately, in Kenya, our schools don't have school counselors. Just a few schools have. But we need to have school counselors who can also see teachers as well, yeah, or have a forum where teachers can get help, you know, because they're also under a lot of stress. They are also under a lot of pressure. They need to cover the syllabus. They need to finish the work that needs to be done. And their kids have to perform, yeah, because if the kids don't perform, who do we blame? We blame the teachers. So we need to have support for teachers as well. We need to have forums where teachers can sit and talk about what's going on with them and sources of help for them. Yeah.
That will go a long way in helping them.
It will.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Remember, this conversation is all about the education system as a whole, understanding where we are, what role bullying is playing in our schools, and consequently the violence that we are seeing among most of the schools that have already been closed down because of, students rioting, breaking property, burning down dormitories in some cases. Now, that also brings me another aspect that was brought up a while back in one of the schools that the students acted out was based on academic performance discrimination, and this now falls on the school administration's point of standing, grouping children as per how they are academically gifted. This class has the brightest, followed by the second lot of brighter students, and this other particular class has students who are not considered bright. One of the reasons as to why some of these kids rioted out. What consequences does this have, discriminating the kids based on their academic performances and consequently acting out in violence?
Yeah, that's a very, very valid argument on the side of these kids. Discrimination feels bad at whichever age. So if you're put separately because you do not perform as expected, it should not be done that way. But this is also something that is controversial because the teachers will argue that you have to put those who are moving at the same pace together.
To encourage the other ones, not to challenge them. Yeah,
but if it will impact the self-esteem of these kids, it will have some issues. It will make them feel inferior, and some of these things they carry into adulthood. If you're one of those people who grew up with siblings who are brighter and you're not doing so well, it affected you in one way or another. In some instances, you felt, I'm not the star child. So if that is done for you at home and it is repeated in school, then it can really have very big impact on your self-esteem. And today we know academic excellence does not equal success in life.
Yes.
Some people who did not do very well in school are living happier, healthier, more successful, more productive lives. And some people who did very well are actually struggling with life. So I wouldn't advocate for the classes to be separated like that. Let's have all the kids, mix them up so that they can support each other. I'm sure this student who is good academically has challenges in other areas which this other kid can help them with. So let's mix them up.
All right. I'm also pro that. You don't go categorizing our children and saying that, this is supposed to challenge you to do better. Now, as we bring the conversation to a close, we have identified that esteem is one of the reasons or rather poor self-esteem is one of the reasons why children act out and consequently bully others and even turn to violence. As a parent, and we can look at the parents and the teachers also involved in this particular value chain, how do we help build our children's self-esteem? Because, children come in various forms. There are those that are naturally very closed up and they don't want, or rather don't know how to express themselves, and consequently they may be bullied. How do we build on their confidence and self-esteem?
So it starts from home. Allow them to speak up for themselves. Actually self-esteem issues arise from being bullied. When you're bullied, you could develop self-esteem issues. And let's empower them, allow them to speak at home. Affirm them. Be the parent who tells their kids, "Mommy, you look nice, you look great. John, you've done well." Give them a pat on their back. Spend time with them. Kids interpret time as love, and love to them means I'm valued, I'm important, I'm supposed to be here. So show them love in the right way. Kids need to feel that they are a star in your life. They're important, they're part of your life. You can set aside your activities to be with them. So if you give them that, kids who come from homes where they're supported, they're given attention, they're listened to, they're allowed to express themselves, and they're also given boundaries. Let's not forget boundaries. They are told, no, this you can't do. No, we can't buy this because we don't have enough money for that. No, you can't go for the trip. Mommy does not have money right now. When you bring up kids in such an environment, they will become confident, they'll become assertive, they'll speak up for themselves. They'll even advocate for others. When others are being bullied, they're the ones who will say, no, that is wrong, don't do that. Or they're the ones who will report.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a parent, do you encourage disciplining your child with a reason, not just, you know, because we are coming from a time where ungetandikwa juu brother yako alifanya ile by association. Should we be disciplining our children and telling them this is why this happened, these are the consequences of this particular action, not just disciplining them because you are the parent?
Yeah.
Because I said so. No, why? Because I said so.
Yeah. Today's kids challenge authority. Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
I have two of them.
They challenge you. They ask you why.
Yes. And the first thought that comes to mind is, I am the parent here. What I say goes. And having to explain to them is something that you need to be intentional with. Is there something you encourage our parents to be doing?
Yeah, you know, respect is earned on all levels.
Yes.
If you want your kids to respect you, you also have to respect them. Yeah, we are always thinking, no, this is a small person, they should not be respected, you know. But respect is earned. If you act in a respectful way, these kids will learn from you. You know, they ask you why, you respond appropriately. Yeah, sometimes your response can be because mommy said so. Yeah, because mommy is the boss. Yeah, but not in a way that they will not understand or they'll feel you're not listening to them. Yeah, so earn that respect from your kids. Yeah, act in a way that they'll respect you and they'll know mommy said because mommy said, and we need to do that. Yeah, because sometimes there are things you can't really explain to a child.
Yes.
Yeah, there are things which you don't even have the words to explain, so you tell them just do because mommy said so. Yeah.
All right. Now, flipping over to the sides of the school, one of the recommendations that was put forth, you know, straight from the ministry, was having a guidance and counseling department in schools to help with, you know, the stresses that come with being a child, which I'd like to know at this point. You know, stresses that come with being a child. The pressure to perform and make up for lost time. Is it something you advocate schools to take on and be serious with? Because for some, it is there, but it's just an empty shell.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, in fact, one of the documents that was released by the government when schools were reopening was stating that they should provide psychosocial and spiritual support.
Yes.
Yeah. So we should have that. Yeah, let's set up that and not take the deputy principal and make the deputy principal the guiding and counseling.
And the discipline master at the same time.
No. Let's have good structures. I know that's a huge thing, but let's start where we are, you know. Let's engage counselors. There are so many counselors out here who are very willing to provide that support to schools. Let's have a budget for that. Yeah, I know this is a third world country and we have money issues, but mental health is as important as any other aspect of human life.
Okay.
So let's have a budget for that and have counselors to support the kids. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I have Mukame here on Twitter who's saying you cannot do back-to-back classes to kids who were free for almost half a year, and some even graduated to being breadwinners. Again, going back to the academic pressure that kids are being given. And another aspect that has been brought up here by one of our viewers who has requested anonymity is issues to do with religion and discrimination in schools based on religion. How do we sensitize our children in understanding and respecting the different religions that each of them hold, but still share the same space, and because they all come with their different beliefs? How do we go about that as parents and teachers? What would you recommend?
So let's teach our kids to understand the world as it is. The world is diverse. Yeah. Let's teach them to appreciate diversity. Yeah. And if you see kids discriminating other kids because of something such as religious beliefs, this is something they've learned from somewhere, maybe from home. Maybe they come from homes where their parents talk ill of the other religions, or they've seen people dismiss other religions. So let's just teach kids to understand people from all walks of life and not just religion. Yeah, sometimes in schools kids will be bullied because they look different, their skin color, their hair, their height, because we are all different.
Yes.
So let's teach them to appreciate diversity. Yeah.
Just the other day, my daughter asked me, why do Muslim girls cover their head? Trying to explain that, she's like, so I'm not supposed to cover my head because I'm Christian. And you see the other Christians that still cover their hair. You see, it's a very delicate ground to maneuver when it matters spirituality and religion with the kids. Now, as we draw this conversation to a close, just your general message to our viewers this morning when it comes to trying to understand our kids who are acting out, because we would be quick to get angry at them and call them, you know, adi kuna mtu hapa amesema they are privileged. Where is that? Let me get that. We are dealing with privileged, spoiled brats. And I'm quoting what has been written here. Yeah, this somebody who said, you know, school fires. My heart is so broken at the sight of fire molding over dormitories in our schools. What is really going on? Is it fatigue, poor parenting, poor teaching, or are they just spoiled little brats? What really is the underlying issue? Your message to some of us who are just trying to wrap their head around all of this without acting out or judging one group of their particular, all those that are involved.
So just look at what we've been through. Just be real. Don't expect kids to overcome. Well, adults, we've also had struggles trying to overcome.
Yes.
Yeah. So listen to these kids. Give them a chance to talk it out. Give them a chance to express what's going on with them. Yeah. If they're spoiled brats, who made them? Who
spoiled them?
Yeah, who spoiled them, you know? Who showed them that it's okay to throw a tantrum without consequences? So let's listen to these kids, give them a chance to express what's going on, and let's support them. Yeah, let us support them.
All right.
Yeah.
As we close, there's one Muhubiri who's saying, just a question to the teachers: how does it feel raising indisciplined kids who are protected by the state?
Yeah.
Very pertinent question over there that we will not delve further into. We do appreciate your feedback as you have been sharing with us. This is a sensitive issue, and we appreciate those of you who have contributed to this conversation. Again, it's something that we are all experiencing as a country, but we do hope we do come to a sense of calm sooner than later. But for now, we bring this conversation to a close. We have been speaking with Brenda Onyango Kitui, who is the founder of Mental is Human Too, and a counseling psychologist at that. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you. Your social media handles once more so that others can keep interacting with you.
Mental is Human Too.
That's how we can find you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you once again for making time to be with us. And thank you for being with us from the start until now. We are back again tomorrow morning, so we do hope to see you then. I'm Jain. Have a lovely day and do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Bye-bye.